All right. So, very good evening to everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. It's a beautiful Friday evening. And if you're here, I know that you're serious about your master's preparation. And like always, every month, it's our endeavor to help you get closer to your plan, to your goal, and what you want. Okay. So, without further ado, I'm going to start today. And we have the shortlisting. And for those of you who haven't met me yet, I'm Kritika. But those of you who have already seen me, today I'm going to be wearing the hat of the admissions consultant, obviously, who has helped a lot of people figure out their grad schools. I'll tell you, one of the main jobs that I have is this. A lot of people have confusion about where should I go, why should I go, etc. And I'll tell you, I always compare it with my own experience and experience with clients in the initial years. I have to tell you that the process has become a lot more complex. Now, why is that? Is because there are just so many options available and so many possibilities that are available today as compared to what it was before. And I'm going to be showing you case studies of my clients today. So this way you will get an idea of what to expect, how to use our process and all. Okay, so let's get started. So I hope that, see, in the next 2 to 3 minutes, many of you might have already seen this, but it's for the benefit of other people who have joined us recently, and of course, like a quick refresher. And every time I challenge myself to do this little differently so that it is not boring to you all. Okay. Now, why do we do the focus of the month sessions? Why do I spend close to 1.5 hours every like almost like once in 2 weeks with you guys? Why do my team spend more than 10 hours on this? Is because it's so important to us that you hit the milestones that are needed for each of the month. See, the biggest advantage of coming to an admissions consultant is the structure that we offer, is the project management that we offer, and obviously the kind of milestone based approach that we offer. Okay, because when you are trying to tick off things in whichever order, all right, see, this can be like a race that you're drawing of your own. Some of you can finish researching on grad schools ahead of time, then you're taking your test. Some of you could have like already worked on figuring out your recommender even before you've decided who's your or where you're applying, right? So the milestones matter to us more than anything else. And it's our endeavor that if you start thinking about each of these milestones ahead of time, while you're balancing all the other things in parallel, it becomes easy for you. Okay. So that has been our approach, and we're very glad to be pursuing it today also. All right. So just gonna check if you're able to see my screen, which looks like you can. 1 minute, I'll stop it and share it once more because I just wanted it to have a little bit more flexibility. And there we go. All right, cool. So if you have looked at some of our the course portal before, you would have seen that we have covered a lot of things in the past. So we have covered definitely about what is the timeline, what is the kind of CV that you should be having if you want to attempt grad school. Now, most importantly, we started discussing how should you research a program that you want to tackle. Okay. See, in India, though, it's very easy. You take GATE, then if you get very high rank, you're getting into any one of those programs that are having that cutoff. Very simple. A particular test will easily give you a particular rank and will get you into a set of programs. However, graduate school is not like that. Especially in the US, there are tons of opportunities, and not just the US, the rest of the region as well. You have so many possibilities as well. So that is where we really dived deep into how to research graduate school programs, how to look at the curriculum, the specialization, the research centers, the faculty, the structure of the program, the duration of the program. So we dive deep into multiple different possibilities, and that's how we started. Next, of course, we realized, see, just the program alone is not enough because you are going for a master's in order to accelerate your career and to establish a career in the initial years. That's where the cost matters, and that's where the region also matters. When I talk about region, I'm talking about, for example, are you going to North America? If you're going to North America, obviously US or Canada. If you're going to US, are you going to the Midwest? Are you going to Northeast? Are you going to the West? Okay, that is the question. So the region here can be as broad as the continent where you're headed, or it can be also specific, what we call as portions of that country. Example, Midwest versus Northeast. Okay. Now you will be very surprised to know that in the US, Northeastern, what do you call it? The regions in the Northeast, right? The original colonies and everything else, along with that belt that is there, they have the maximum number of universities. Okay, in terms of availability and all. But then you might also wonder about a country like Germany. You might wonder about UK, France, right? And many other places. So it's not just you're going to go and study. For all practical purposes, you'll be living there for anywhere between 3 to 5 years. And that matters to you. Okay. So that is where we discuss this. And for those of you who have not done, I'm going to show you very shortly where to find all these videos and everything else. And that's where we stopped, right? So if you can go to the course portal, you will see, you can go into lms.thecareerlabs.com and you can just open into the login through your Google account. You will be able to like see all the different videos and other things that we're talking about. All right. I will present this to you shortly. So far we have done all these things, but now the question remains, how do I decide which are the 5 to 10 schools to which I will apply in the end? And I will tell you, you can't decide in the last minute or something. You'll say, oh, I'll go here, I'll go there. It doesn't work like that. We are going to tell you the quickest and the most easy way of doing it. And I'm going to prove that it works using some of our case studies that we have developed already here today. Okay, so you guys should really stay back for the case studies because that is what is going to happen. Very important. But then see, these are quick recap and everything else. In the next 10 minutes, we're going to be done with many of these things very quickly. All right. So far, so good. Like any questions or comments that you have? Do you want to quickly ask me something? Are you all listening? Have you fallen asleep already? I'm kidding. I know you guys are very attentive. So let's get going with our objectives. See, remember that today's topic is about short listing of the programs. That means that you have a long list somewhere. Okay, you can't shortlist unless you have a long list. Okay, bad jokes apart, but it means that you already have some options in front of you. From the options, you're deciding what is it that you want. So that is how important it is to figure out your set of schools to which you will apply and how to make it easy for yourself. Okay. I am also going to tell you about some of the problems that you will face and of course understanding how to avoid the mistakes that will be there. Like always, this particular webinar is open to anybody going for any technical program, whether it's from the School of Arts and Humanities or the Sciences and Arts or your engineering or your pharmacy or medicine, not medicine. So not medicine and law, except medicine and law, technical programs you're going into, and so on and so forth. So this is something that you will really, really want to test it out. Okay. So every time I talk about the profile of an applicant, for the last 3 months, we are focusing on only the grad school because it's so important. It is so important that you have spent 3 months on it. All right. So keep that in mind. And note that where you apply will have like a huge, huge, huge impact on your career later on. Okay, of course, you'll do other things. You'll go on to do, you'll get into a big company. You might invent the next big cure for cancer, hopefully, or you might like want to do work on multiple things. That's all great. But that said, still for a considerable amount of time, your master's degree will be used as a measure of your capabilities. So that is why associating with the brand is important. Okay, and that's why knowing which are the programs to which you are comfortable in applying and comfortable in associating yourself becomes important. Okay, so all of you are here for fall 2025. And of course, we had couple spring people with whom we already dealt with. So I like to see the deadlines always. I always tell you that, as I told you in the beginning itself, you have a timeline in place. There is a deadline. In fact, today we are going to unveil the deadline for you and the MS timeline for you that you can use in order to decide, like, the options that you have. So you essentially have time between June, July, August, September, October. So 5 months October is the time that we highly recommend you to like start applying, because September is when the applications open. So we want you to have that buffer of 1 month, okay, when you apply. Now, if you're ready to apply in September, it's perfectly fine. All right. So this is something that you have to consider. Keep this in mind. Take a copy of it, paste it on your room or wherever, and so on. So we don't have too many spring clients today, so I'm going to skip this and get going. All right. So folks, pay a little bit attention here. What did we discuss before? We discussed that, look, the first thing to understanding, uh, you know, the grad school will be to identify parameters that are important to you. For example, does the ranking matter? Yes. How much cost are you willing to spend? What duration of course are you looking for? How much money do you want to earn after the program? So this quantitative parameters were super simple and very easy to find out. Then we also asked questions like, what kind of specialization tracks and courses do you want? What about the ongoing research? Do you have like a little bit of an idea? What about the labs, the research centers, the additional institutes that might be available? Okay, what do you look for in the research that is done by the faculty or the courses that are being taught by the faculty there? Or even the approach, the pedagogical approach that they use. What are your top 3 favorite courses that you found in that program, in that university? Or like what kind of courses do you want, right? So we started looking at the research and delving deep into what is the curriculum, what are the other aspects about the program that sticks out, and other features that make it appealing to you. So we asked you to find out, like, very simply, what matters to you and what doesn't. So I'll give you a quick example. One of my clients joined me today and said, Kritika, look, I don't care about the cost. I don't care about like the curriculum or anything. For me, employment matters a lot. So I'm only looking to this program for the skills that it can give me and the jobs it can get me. So I want to only apply to Boston, and then Austin, and then like even Chicago, New York City, and so on. So I only want to look at these set of cities and programs that are there. Okay. Now, is that an ideal choice? See, you and me can't decide it, but it definitely like an okay choice because the candidate was able to specify what they wanted. Okay, they said, I don't care about like the other factors, but for me, this is what matters to me. And so that way, what happened, it became easy for us to figure out what are the programs to which they will apply. Okay, now you guys might be the opposite. So I know that when you guys filled out the preference form, one of you said that cost is very important. If I don't get a scholarship, I can't go. Okay, for some of you, cost might be what we call as the main criterion, which kinds of decides where can you go. All right. Now, for some of you, you might say like, hey, look, I have family in the US or I'm an NRI, I have a US citizenship. I'm going to go back there. I honestly don't care about the job options or everything else. I just want to study this at the moment. All right. So what you have to understand is that you are deciding how important is a certain parameter, how much are you willing to compromise on it. Okay. So accordingly, once you decided, then you can look at a school and then compare whether the particular school will satisfy your criteria ahead of time. Okay. In fact, we did a very fun exercise last week, not last week, I think the week before last, where we did like a grad school preferences bingo, and you were able to quickly put together the preferences into your whether it is important to you or not, and whether it was negotiable or not. When I say negotiable, we say that, yeah, I don't really care about the climate, right? That is negotiable. But you say, no, I really care about the climate, because I have an allergy, I have a health condition. So the climate has to be is very important to me, right? Like that. So I did have one young client who had arthritis. It is very uncommon for young people to have it, but this person was very special. So they just could not be in really cold climates. So, see, that said, US has been experiencing really bad weather the last year. So even the seemingly tropical climates in the US, like example Texas and all, which would never see snow ever, had seen a lot of snow. Okay, so anyway, bringing back to our focus here, negotiable means that you're okay to compromise on it, right? Important mean it really matters. So for example, if you do not get the area of specialization that you're looking for, then you may not apply to that program. All right, so that is what we discussed before. I also took you through the cost of attendance in the month of April, where I told you how it is important for you to figure out all the things and where to find that information, how to do it. So cost will matter overall to some people. Now, at this point of time, just have an imaginary number in your head. Example, saying that, you know what, my top budget is 70 lakhs Indian rupees, or I'm going to look for 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, etc. Okay, I have to tell you that by the time that you guys are going, no, there will be 100% an increase in the tuition everywhere. Okay, case in point, Michigan's tuition fees has been increasing by 5% ever since, I went studying in 2006. Okay, so it's almost 18 years and it's been increasing a lot. When I went, it was around 14,000 something for 13,350 something, right? Around 14,000 for per semester. When I left Ann Arbor, it was already 18,850 something. Okay. So I have to tell you that the semester fees has been just increasing and it is not going to decrease in any time. All right. So you have to factor in that also. Whatever you have today, just put another 2.5% or 5% more. That's what you can expect. Okay. We did the cost, we did the region. I told you why it is so important to think about the region in the short term and in the long term. So short term is, hey, look, I'm just going and studying there. So I'm going to go to Ann Arbor and study. How is it? What are the parameters, etc. Long term is, I'm going to work in Ann Arbor. How will it be? I want to establish a career in Ann Arbor. I want to establish my family in Ann Arbor. I want to bring my family there, and so on. So how does it look like, right? And so on. So you'll have to consider that also. And I already told you that the main purpose on researching about grad school is to find out the one where you get the best fit. And if you don't get the best fit, it's going to be a miserable experience and a very expensive, miserable experience. Okay, I'll give you a story. I had this client. Sorry, this is not a client. This is one of my friends. In fact, one of my neighbors. She went to Carnegie Mellon University. I'm sure you guys all know Carnegie Mellon University is one of the very top universities, prestigious ones. Everybody wants to go there. She went there. It's to the business school, the Tepper School of Business, and she wanted to study MS in Finance. Okay, she said that she was miserable in that Tepper, because it was really very strongly focused on analytics, and it's a more, what do you call it, as theoretical approach. Honestly, in Carnegie Mellon, more research-based approach, lots and lots of focus on number crunching theory and all that, which was just too much for my neighbor. So she, of course, took a help of somebody else and then transferred to Columbia. So she literally wasted one semester because it was very hard for her to cope up there. Uh, uh, she wasn't somebody who really worried about money that much, so she was able to hold on for that 8 months. Okay, I mean, like one extra semester she waited, and then she moved to Columbia and switched to Columbia. After she switched to Columbia, she did extremely well, and then did really well, and then now has established her own company in India. Okay, so that is the essential story that I have. Now, Carnegie Mellon and Columbia are both prestigious, very nice schools. Okay, so don't just think that, oh, if I go to one big school, it's good enough. Not really. You may not like that experience, and you might be miserable over there. That's exactly why you have to make an informed decision. And I have to tell you, I do not have any client who thought that where they studied was bad. Okay, because you yourself will see how many times we are going to ask you, are you sure? Is this a place you want to go? Why? Why do you think so? What are the reasons for it? Have you thought about all these parameters? Have you thought about these additional parameters? Who told you? Did you speak to somebody? Did you speak to a current student? Did you speak to an alum? Did you have a chance to visit your virtual event? Okay, why do you think this is a better fit for your goal that you have? Are you sure that you're aligned with the goal? So we are going to keep on asking you till the time that you're very sure. Okay. And the reason we can do that is like, we don't really worry about where you go. So for us, Carnegie Mellon, Columbia, Harvard will be equal to Wichita State University, Iowa State University, University of Colorado Denver, and University of Colorado Boulder. It doesn't matter. Why does it not matter is because what matters to us is the alignment that you have with the program. And why do you want to go to the program? How deeply are you invested in that program and the specialization and the program that you wanted? Okay, so please note that this is an extremely critical point. Your success will depend on the program that you choose, and the right program that you choose will help you decide, get the career success later on. Okay, of course, I'm sure you guys are super smart. You know how to work it out. Even if there's something goes wrong, I know you know how to work it out. That's not what we're talking about. See, but right now, what I'm telling you is more like this. See, it's like this, literally. Like, let's say that you are an athlete and you can run a 100-meter race and a 50-meter race, and as well as like, a 400-meter relay, as well as like, maybe even like a marathon. It depends on right now, what is your goal? As well as like, what do you want to train for? Okay. And what do you want to get into? That's all it is. Okay. So while you can do any of it, so for example, you can do an MS in data science, you can do an MEM, you can do an MS in computer science, you can do MS in AI, like degree called MS in AI itself. But the question will be is which is better suited for you right now, and which is also possible for you. Okay, like in terms of availability as well, in terms of eligibility as well. Got it? So that is what we're going to focus today. And of course, we have this major important mindset mindset shift that I want you to make, which is don't just think about to which school should I apply. Okay, you should think about to which are the many schools that you should apply. You're not just going to one program. You have to think about the similar group of programs that can deliver the same outcomes and experience that you want. All right. So we have so many things, and you might like, oh, what is all this? What is all this? Very crazy. Not really. So I'm going to show you a 7-step process, and I'm sure that all of you don't want to read something on the screen. So why don't I just jump in and tell you about, hey, look, we have a reasonably good, decent process selection process, which is very structured. It is mathematical in approach, analytical in approach. See, I was, after all, a former engineer. Okay. So that is in my kind of like training and blood, I should say. I like to think of everything in matrices and everything as numbers and everything as processes and all that. That's why I do what I do really well. And I know you guys are engineers too. So you guys are also very happy in modular thinking. Okay. Now, there is a process in place, but should it be done only in that way? Not really. I'm going to show you how through the different case studies. So a lot of you would have got a PGA report with us. You would have got a profile gap analysis done with me, majority of you. Then you have worksheets, which are there. And of course, you would have done some kind of shortlisting. So I'm going to, let me just show that quickly to you as well. And I love this feature of Zoom really a lot. Wait a sec. Ooh, so nice. So let me just share with you this. You guys were wondering, oh, Kritika, you're telling thousands of things. Where is all this? I didn't come and watch your webinar last time. I don't know where it is. You're going to just log into the course and you'll get access to this particular one. As soon as you come in, you're going to see the important tools that are available. And of course, the webinar recording. So today's recording will also go in here. After we're done recording, it's going to go here today, like the shortlisting that happens here. Okay. Now, then The checklist that I'm talking about, right? Everything you needed today is all available here. So all the worksheets you need and everything else is here. There's a lot of additional resources. The ones that I'm going to show you, the ones that you got in your mail. So these are some resources for researching and some handouts for shortlisting schools, some additional resources. So if you're thinking about shortlisting graduate schools, all of the resources are available for you right here. Okay. All right. So that's what it is. And coming back to the session today here. Yeah. So all the sheets are available there. That's it. Okay. So how to do the shortlisting? Do the worksheets. Once you've decided what are your goals, where you want to go, and what is the cost, it becomes very easy to shortlist the rest of it. All right. Now, let's see that in action. So typically you have a plan of action. Please follow the plan. That's my ardent request to everybody. I would have given this to you in the PGA. I would have given this to you in the quarterly profile mentoring call that you might have had with me. All right. So we do this in multiple times for you. We keep changing the plan. The reason we keep changing the plan is because some of you would need a course correction and may not be in a position to do it. But majority of the times, the requirements that are needed to get into a master's program remain constant. Okay, they're not changing it. See, for example, for getting into MS and CS, they didn't tell us that you need a video resume, or they didn't tell us that you need to submit your GitHub profile, or that you should have got a certain rank in a Kaggle competition or something like that, right? So the requirements of getting into a master's program doesn't change that much, which is why our focus also kind of remains the same like throughout the different quarters for many people. Okay, so everybody has to take a GRE, you know, whether you do it or not. Everybody has to have some kind of research experience under their belt and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's go into the steps. Okay, again, might look a little complicated, but it is not. So let's see. I'm going to do it through a case study, you know, because no need to talk. This is where I would request you guys to follow along. What do I mean is, please think about your own situation as I'm talking about this. All right. Everybody take a piece of paper or on your computer screen or your mobile screen, whatever, you know, try to look at all these things. You all have an undergraduate degree. You obviously know the college. Now, you may not know what is this. I'll tell you quickly. If you're from the IITs, you're a tier one. Some of the NITs will also come under tier one. Some of the other NITs don't come under that. Tier two will be all your top colleges in the states. Example, say in Karnataka, what is the top 5 private colleges other than the IITs and the NITs? So like that will be tier two. Tier three will be like other programs less than, say, you can even think about it like less than 125 on the NIRF ranking. And tier 4 will be the other colleges, you know, the other colleges that exist in India. Now, does it matter? It matters. You know, that is how we give you, like, we have a lot of algorithms and other things in place that are complicated. You don't have to know that. But all these things matter to the AdCom. Your CGPA will be super critical. So now, see, if you get a CGPA of 7 from an IIT Madras versus you getting a CGPA of 7 from another college in I'm not going to name the college. Let's say another college in, say, Bangalore, okay, which is known for what we call as grade inflation. I know that, you know, in that school, everyone gets about 9.5, etc. You got a 7. That makes a big difference. Okay, CGPA by itself may not have that much of a value. It is always valued with reference to where do you come from as well. Okay, now that is my job to do. You don't have to worry about it. All right, so now think about how many projects do you have? When I say projects, I'm talking about course project, your research project, your undergraduate or a major project, as you might call it, independent projects, other things and all that. Okay, think about what are the internships. Think about like what are the other papers that you might have, certifications, volunteering, interest, of course. You might have an interest in the field of AI. Now, when this person started working with us, they were looking for AI and system design, and their career goal was to get good placement opportunities. So they were only looking for job after masters. All right. Now, can you guys quickly write it down, like as to what you are looking for, what is the specialization you are looking for, etc., on your own piece of paper or your computer screen or whatever? Yeah. If you can do that, can you just please give me like a thumbs up? A thumbs up or a hand raise, or like, just wave to me like this or do a clap. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks. Super. Thank you so much. Awesome. Well done, everybody. Let's go back to our screen sharing as we were. Excellent. So I hope that you guys have done it. So this is how the person's profile looked like when they first joined us, and which I'm sure that many of you guys are also in the same position. That's okay. Now, what did we do? Their CV also looked like this. No internship, nothing. They only had their education and nothing much and all this. So this is a real live project that I got. I mean, real live CV that we got from somebody of the client. So I am going to go over the steps one by one with a case study right now. I want you to follow along and make a note. First thing is to understand what is your end goal, like the end game, in your Marvel movies. What is a goal? Do you want a better job? Do you want to study? Why are you doing the master? So this is like a main thing. Okay. Now, if you want to get a better job, then you will be focused more on skills. If you want to go and study, you will be more focused on which faculty is working on what and where and so on. So the latest research, the paper, the innovations, the pedagogy, etc., etc. All right. This is how you will arrive at a set of schools for yourself. The goal setting is what is there. Okay. So, and I already told you, you can't just decide goals only based on career. You will automatically have what you expect in the society where you're going to live. 100% you'll have an aim for what kind of finances you need after the masters. Okay. So this is what you think about. So what did our friend do? Our friend, I mean, our client, I'm not going to name that person. So our friend went in and then, they decided that they wanted to get into the software AI ML. Software engineering was also okay. AI and ML were okay, other for them. So they did the industry research worksheet and they filled it up like this. Okay. And they filled it up. They started researching about what kind of jobs, what kind of role is available for them, what is your short-term goal, where can they expect it, etc., and all that. Okay. Now, there is a shorter approach also in the roadmap that we have shared. So, see, if you guys see, this is a longer approach on the worksheet where we ask you to fill about, like, I think around 12, 13, 14 parameters are available and you fill it up. Now, if you are like this client, you can also fill the shorter approach. Okay. On the same sheet, you will have something called as a career goals roadmap. And all you have to do is tell them, what are you seeking? Okay. So I'm seeking advanced courses. I'm seeking the top program with faculty like this. I want the network connections, blah, 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 etc. So what should I be prepared for, right, is again a question. So the location, the pay scale, the language requirement, accommodation, transportation, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So our client filled this career goals roadmap so that they were very clear about what kind of program they wanted and what kind of job were they wanting after getting out of the college. Sorry, the grad school here. Are you guys with me? So far, so good? All right. So this is our client, right? And remember this client? So that is how they decided their goals and their specializations. Okay. Now, so this is how it looks. After they have done the research, this is how it looked like. After step 1, they got like this, they decided, I want a product-based company, not some random company in the world. I want to upskill in AI ML. I want to have more hands-on experience, etc., etc. So that is the result of the decision that they took. based on the worksheet. Okay, so can I get like a something show of hands, chat message? What do you guys think so far? So far, so good. So what should you do? You should go and fill the career goals worksheet that is available so that you know what is the purpose of doing the masters and what do you want after the masters. All right, very good. Let's go to the next step. And yeah, of course, the next step is very important, cost and region, because cost and region are like always universal criteria everywhere. Okay, so what they did was they went to the country specific series. They decided studying in the USA, studying in Germany, blah, 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 and all that. So for this, they decided their personal goals. It was very important to them to decide what they wanted in the short term and the long term. Okay, so how did they go about it is they decided I'm going to go to United States. Okay, so in our case study that you remember, they wanted an MS in computer science and job after masters. So they started doing research and figuring out what is the location, the cost of living, the permanent residency status, the visa conditions, blah blah blah, and all the others. So after they did the research, earlier they came to us for United States, Canada, Europe. They decided that they're going to go with the US. Now, why do they go for these regions is because they really wanted, to get a better hang of the cost of living, employment opportunities, etc., and all that. Okay. So, and they wanted to go into these regions because their family and everybody was there. Okay. So from the three regions, they decided to proceed with schools in the US alone. And by now, what happened? Remember, they have already done one semester with us. They got some more projects. One internship is done. 2 certifications is also done. Okay. So that is the change that happened in the profile, as you saw. But when they did the region research, they got more clarity on what they wanted and how to do. Okay. Now, why were they okay with Ann Arbor is because they knew this much is the cost and this is what is needed. They did the research and so on and so forth. They found out like Toronto versus Michigan and all that. They looked at the cost. Okay. So they were okay to go with Ann Arbor. It had so much cost. And after they did the cost of attendance comparison, they chose this. Simultaneously follow along how they did more certifications. They were able to narrow down on more machine learning in terms of interest and all that. Okay. Are you all able to hear me? It's pouring here. I'm so sorry. It's raining like crazy and right now. Are you still able to hear me? Can you just give me like a quick yes or no? Awesome. I hope that there is no noise. Yeah. Okay. So now coming to the next important part. All right. See, we are going to be giving you your graduate school list based on your preferences that you shared with us. Okay. So how to find out the grad school list is we would have sent you your PGA report. We would have told you about the grad schools in the handout. I'm going to show you. We have a grad school research tool also that is available. And then also the list from us, which we would have shared with you right now. Okay, let me just show that to you right away so that you have a clarity on where it is. So look at all the possible lists that we have. So you have one repository that is available. So this is like a very exhaustive list that you have of this one has close to around 1,000 schools, 1,000 universities out here. Okay. Next is based on rankings. You have the top 100 rankings according to the different rankings so that you don't have to go and look for it. Okay. And this is another list of schools that is readily available to you. And then we talk about what are the prerequisites that's required in each country so that you know how it is. All right. And then we tell you about the top universities that are available in the world. So again, you don't have to go and look for something new in the world, etc. So this is available. All right. Then we have the region comparison handout. So we tell you like which region is better and why and what and where and etc. and all that. Then we tell you about the same steps of shortlisting that I'm showing you in a nice and beautiful manner that you can see here. Okay. Then there is like a graduate school selector tool. I have to tell you that this one is a little broken at the moment, but it's still workable, and it still works. Okay. What do I mean by it's broken at the moment is that some of the things, right? It might need like certain other requirements that are there. So you can still search for it. The some of the filters may not work completely. Okay, I'm going to be very honest here that some filters may not work completely. So you might want to check this out and then see it as well. But essentially, all the things that you saw in our repository is what is available in the selector tool as well. Okay. So, in fact, if any one of you is looking for a project, you can definitely come and help us out, and we can look at it as well. Okay. So, whatever information that you needed for your list, all of the lists are available here. How many ever list in whichever different format. And see, I find this top 10 universities very useful because it says top 10 in the UK, top 10 in the Canada region, and then top 10 in Sweden, Netherlands, blah, 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 and so on. Okay. So it gives you like a sense of what to expect in the world everywhere and so on, right? And we also tell you when you go into this repository, we tell you additional rankings. Okay, so if you go and see here, I hope that you can see my screen and you can see that these are the rankings that we recommend. So if you feel, Kritika, I don't think I have enough schools, give me more schools. Here is a list of entire schools that we recommend, which will have like thousand and more. But here are the top 1,000 schools to which our candidates actually applied for the last 3 years. Okay, each of the schools here, our candidate would have applied there. And we have tons of programs, guys, like any kind of engineering, all kinds of business school, masters, all kinds of humanities subjects, psychology, you name it and we have it. Okay, so that is the list that we are talking about. You have multiple list of programs that are available. All right. So is there going to be any problem in looking at options? Not really. We have so many things available for you. And you can start researching about the school just today. So first is the what we call as a PGA report. You would have got this. Second is the top 25 list. I already showed you on the nice portal in a beautiful format. Then you can also look at this particular portal and then see, oopsie, sorry. Yeah, this is a one. Sorry, you can look at this portal that I showed you and then look at this one. See, there's one challenge here because this was made by a different tool. That's exactly why we gave you another thing. But you can definitely see this as one of the options that you have available, wherein we have like all the program facilities and as well too. Last but not the least, we are going to send you this based on your preference. Many of you have told us, this is what I like and this is what I prefer and this is the region I want to consider. So based on your own preference, we are going to send you a set of programs as well. Okay. So all of this, okay, will give you enough set of what we call as programs to get started and start shortlisting. Meanwhile, let's look at a wonderful client. Now you know that the client has started working on more projects, got one paper done and got more certifications done. So these are the changes in our client's profile when they actually moved with us and they finished their quarterly profile mentoring call. Okay, then they got this. Now, after this, what do they do? So, this is a selection criteria. We guys did, if you remember, we did a bingo the other day in order to look at the preferences. And I also explained this to you. They started listing down what mattered to them and what they were keen on. Okay, so what did our client pick? So this is what our client picked up. All right. So they said that pedagogy was the most important to them. Right. So you can look at this screen. And you will see that cost of attendance was very important to them, specialization, thesis-based project, etc. So they were able to select what mattered really too much for them and also some of the other what we call as okay parameters. Right? They were not really concerned about the research facilities, faculty member, blah, 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 and all that. Okay. So this is how you select your criteria. And this is where you find out, like, the self-assessment, the handout, etc. Okay, is that clear? All right. So once they did this, they were able to finalize what mattered to them in terms of the school. So let's go here. 1 minute. It's broken. Oh, now it's better. Then what they did, they started analyzing for the different schools. So they said, I want so much money, so much things, etc., etc. Then they started the research. They said the median starting salary for this one is so much. It's good for salary for this one. This is the actual cost of attendance. It can go a little higher than planned budget, etc. Remember, they selected something and then they are comparing what the school has to offer against it. Okay, so this is like a very neat way of doing. Okay, so look at our great client has already worked on 4 projects by now and then 7 certifications. Yeah. So this is by the month of, like, around sometime now only, like May only. They started working on the factors and they were able to finalize the schools to which they wanted to apply. Okay. So this is how, after they selected the programs, what they did was they sent it to us. Okay. They said that, look, this is my final shortlist of program that I want to look at. Okay, remember that in some of the programs, see earlier, if you remember, this client wanted to do AI, system design, ML and all that, no? By the time that they came back to us, they said, I'm okay with an MS in CS. I'll go there and figure out what kind of this one I wanted. Okay. So with this, they said they were also able to look at the requirements. So some of them wanted GRE, some of them didn't want GRE, but it's recommended, right? And then some of them were waiving GRE. I have to tell you guys that most of the programs that I have spoken to, and ETS especially, so I speak to ETS folks on a regular basis. Why? Because I speak to them for MBA waves, I speak to them for conferences that I organize and all that. Everyone is telling that the schools are coming back with the GRE requirements, and we saw this happen in fall 2024. Okay, last year. Most of them were optional for fall 2023 and fall 2024. But everybody wanted, like, the GRE to come back. And ETS people are saying that a lot of people have started, a lot of the universities have started doing this again. Okay. All right. So now, so this is what the person did. They said, Kritika, look, I have started looking at these 10 universities as my shortlist. Now tell me, where do I fit in? So what did we do? We got the shortlisted candidate list from the candidate. Then we checked for the eligibility and requirements, the quantitative parameters, the qualitative parameters of the profile. Okay, we have all the elements of the profile, if you guys remember, right? We only work with the candidate for the CV. We got a GRE score of the candidate. And then, of course, we got a proxy for the letters of recommendation, okay? And so on. So once we got that, we categorized it for them. Okay, and this is how it looked. We categorize and say ambitious means only to 20% chance, match is like a little bit higher chance, safe is like the highest chance that you have of admitting, and all that. Now, ambitious is called as dream, it is called as reach, it is called as stretch school, etc. Match is called as achievable or more like target, etc. Safe is like safety net. That's the name. So there are many names to call these things. Okay, but this is how we categorize it. Now look at a great client. And this is a true story, guys. You know that this is the format that we follow and so on, right? So I'm very proud of this client, to be very honest. And he did get into some good schools. So extremely happy for him. And the good news is he also got his visa and everything done and he's flying out by August. So we're very happy for this client. So we saw here, right, that when they came, they didn't have too many projects, internships, etc., and all this. So they were able to modify their profile accordingly by the time that they came for application. So their profile is much, much stronger as when they started with us, if you guys remember. Okay, they came to us at a 7. Remember the CGPA that went up as well. All right. So after that, what we did, we, in the minutes of the strategy session, we worked with them and categorized their programs and told this is match and this is safe and this is ambitious and blah, blah. And then, of course, the person decided which is going to be their first school that they wanted to work with us. Okay. All right. So you saw that from a 7, it went to 8.27 and so many improvements in the profile. Very nice. And then, so the categorization helped the person understand how his profile fit into the different schools. And what happened is they decided to apply to a mix of match, safe, and dream schools. Okay. Typically, the match is like this. A lot of our candidates pick about, they say that they will pick around definitely 1 to 2 match schools and 1 to 2 safe schools. Definitely they pick this. We recommend to say do 1 to 2 ambitious schools, but many people pick as many numbers as they want because they want to apply to more ambitious schools and more math schools. Okay, that's typically how our clients work. But of course, you can be different and you can work in different ways, right? So they applied to a bunch of programs like, see, these are the safe universities and these are the match universities and the dream universities. Okay. And they said like they totally apply time with us, and of course working on the statement of purpose and the letter of recommendation requests. I'll have to be clear, we don't write recommendations for you, neither do we ask you to write it. Your recommender will write it based on the request form that you send them. Okay, so this was done, and then of course these are the results. Okay, they got into their top programs, remember, the top programs, they got into it. And then of course, these were the admits and no admits as well. Wisconsin Madison, they were able to get in, You remember it was one of their dream schools. Can you see this? They were able to get into one of these guys and then this guy as well. And a couple of the schools rejected them. Now, why am I bringing this to you is because you should expect different results from different programs. Okay, don't think that what happened for my client would happen for you as well. All right. And they apply to Dayton by themselves as well. They apply to all these schools with us and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So you guys, did you see the process and you see like how easy it is to kind of like work when you know what you want? Yeah. I'm going to stop here for a second. I want to see what are the questions that you're seeing. What are your understanding? No questions? That's very sad. But I think you're typing your question. That's cool. Okay, I'm going to ask a question here. See, this candidate seemed to know like what they wanted a little bit. What will you do if you don't know what you want? That's exactly where you should start exploring the programs. Okay, the analogy is like the buffet. See, sometimes you know what is there in the buffet. So therefore, you can go and eat or automatically. But sometimes you will not know what is there in the buffet, right? Like you never taste it. So say, for example, you're going to eat Malaysian cuisine and there's a buffet for it and you've never tasted it in your life. Okay, then what is the way of knowing it? The way of knowing it is to know what you like in life. So many people might prefer healthy stuff. Many people might prefer fried stuff. Many people might prefer like salty stuff versus sweet stuff, etc. So then, see, even though you may not know anything about Malaysian cuisine, you know that you like sweet stuff and you like possibly like more rice-based items and so on. Okay. So say, for example, you don't know which specialization to pick. You can always look at what are the subjects that you liked, what are the subjects that you're good at, and of course, explore more. The best way to taste at a buffet would be to go and taste at it. If you don't know whether you like this or not, take a small sample and eat it and see. The same way, if you don't know whether a particular program is good for you, just please go to the particular program's website and then learn more about it and see if this is what you want to study. All right, so that's simple as that. I'm going back to our discussion and let's go here. We have a little bit more ground to cover. Here's another candidate. Okay. This was a person who said, I'm going to go for research and further education. She already had like a good, good profile when she came to us, in the sense that she had more things on her profile. And interest was in data science, but then specialization was in cybersecurity and so on and so forth. Okay. So what does this person do? Again, they had like a little bit more here and all that. You can see like the kind of work they've done and so on. And one thing was they wanted to study more, and they possibly wanted a PhD in AI or cybersecurity. See, at the time when they come to us, they're not very clear. So that's why I'm writing everything. They found that there's no research option in India for them, didn't want to work any further, and so on and so forth. They did not want to take GATE and stay back in India, and they wanted to complete the entire studies immediately. I know that a lot of you guys are in this situation. You want to study and finish your undergraduate studying now itself, when it is easy for you to do so, right? And I had this one client who said, like, this was very interesting. Okay. So this was one client we had worked with, we had gone to their college in 2021, and they joined us last year. In 2021, they had come for a small consultation call or something like that. Okay. So in 2021, they were in their final year of this one. So at the time, after the discussion with them, they kind of realized that no, I don't want to go for a master's now. Let me go and study and then go. So they came back in 2023, and it was really nice to work with them, because their profile had changed so much in this angle. Okay, that's what I want to tell you. If you have more time to build your profile, it's good, but it also has consequences. Anyway, coming to this, after they did the research, they had more clarity on what are the regions which were offering PhD in computer science, especially the particular region they wanted, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is what they were. Now they decided to go with Carnegie Mellon, one of the tough ones. They because they were going for like how much money it was coming from it. If they go for PhD, it will be like easier for them to fund and all that. And slowly they started building their profile. Okay, and after the initial shortlisting, they started doing the research that was needed for them. And see, by then the particular grades also improve, slowly and steadily. See, like you guys know, many people join us for 5th semester, 6th semester, and also sometimes 7th semester. It depends on the candidate. So their CGPA 100% increases. All right, when they work with us. That's the reason it works like increases, because they choose to like improve and then look at it. One of the requirements for going for a master's program, which is research focused, was like this. See, initially, when they came to us, they were considering different regions, like you see Berkeley, Carnegie Mellon, ETH Zurich, all in different parts of the country as well as the globe. Okay, so but then after they have decided with us, right, it became so much, as you can see, in terms of what all is available. Okay, so so there are a lot of things that were available, and then they decided to apply to these programs. They wanted to apply to ETH Zurich because that was the only thing. It's not in US, I also know that, but they wanted to do it, and they applied to some of the top programs as well. Okay, and this particular candidate I'm showing you, right, has become a wonderful writer in the field of data science and does a lot of talks. Okay, good news, they went to Berkeley and Carnegie Mellon, one of the top programs in the US, got rejections from ETH Zurich and Stanford. Okay. Now, why do I show you such a thing? Is because I want to tell you that it really depends on the candidate, okay, and how much time they're doing. The candidate came to us and said that all the work that we did for the various other schools is how they were able to work on their Berkeley and other universities to which they applied. Okay, remember this is a PhD and it will be like very tough to get into. So what did I show you? I showed you two different case studies today. And what did we see? The key takeaway is that you have to figure out what you want to do after masters, where do you want to go and study, and how it's going to impact your cost. Okay, don't come to me in like say January and tell me, you know what, Kritika, I don't think I should have applied to that program. Carnegie Mellon University is a bomb. It costs a bomb, literally. Stanford is a wonderful program, but not unless you are, what do you call it, you're rich. I always bring this criteria. One of our candidates came from a very good university in Delhi and got into the electrical engineering program in multiple places, and Stanford was one of them. They were actually getting a scholarship in one of the Northeast universities. Example, I think it was like a UIUC or Minnesota. I don't remember right now, but it was one of those universities in the Northeast where they're getting it. But they decided to go to Stanford. And this is like before COVID. This was around 2017 something, as far as I remember. So in 2017, they applied, and you know the cost at that time, the total cost of attendance for Stanford came to about like an 80 lakhs at that time, you know. So it is not cheap, my friend. So that is exactly where you will look at all the elements and try to understand what is it that you want. Get the initial school list. We are going to send you an initial school list if you have already shared the preferences with us. I will request my team member to put the preferences form in the chat. Okay. For those of you who have not filled up, a lot of you have filled up. That's great. Decide what matters to you. I know that many of you are studying in similar colleges and are looking at things. What matters to you will not matter to your friend. Okay, this is probably where you, what we call as separate paths and go your different ways in life. Okay, see, I had this dream of, I used to tell my friend in fourth year, I will tell her that, look, I'm going, like you and me will go and study in the same like same university for grad school and we'll be roommates. Okay, it didn't happen, but it is okay, you know, because quite honestly, the program to which she went was number one in her field. The program to I went was number one in my field. So we didn't have anything to complain about, but that might not be like something that would work. Your requirements would be different than your friends. All right. So get the shortlisting and then the categorization from us, and that's pretty much it. It's a very, very simple process. Okay. I want to go over the tools a little bit more, and so that you are aware of it. So there are so many handouts you will see. But see, for example, when you have a time, no, all you need to do is just go here and then take a look. What are all the top programs according to whom and where and what and all, right? So when I'm really bored, I can just go and then look at it a little bit and then see what is there. See, by the way, this one is like talking about the top universities in the world. So I'm just going to make it a little bigger. So see, I don't think you're going to go to Tsinghua. By the way, going to Tsinghua is so tough. All right. I don't think you'll go to like a Cambridge, because going to Cambridge is like next to impossible as well, or Oxford or Caltech. Okay. Getting into Caltech and MIT is much more tougher to get into Harvard and Stanford for an engineering course. Okay, and so is like ETH Zurich and all. So why am I telling you this is because, so if I'm really bored, I can just go and then click on this, and then I can immediately open the university and get to know about what are the programs and what is there and so on and so forth. Okay, so it becomes like a very easy approach for me, and it doesn't take too long for the school selection and everything else. Okay, so that is exactly why we spent a lot of time so that you didn't have to, and you had like a lot of options in understanding what are all needed. All right. Moving on to a couple other last points before I get out is, what should you be thinking about, right? What is a problem that people typically have is if you don't meet the eligibility criteria, especially GRE or even a CGPA requirement and so on. If you're not very clear on your career goal, then you can't choose any course. I'll tell you right now. It's like standing in front of the buffet and not knowing what to eat. The only way to know it is to dive in and check it out, right? The same way. If you don't know, like, should I go for ML? Should I go for AI? Should I go for CS? No. The only way to know is go either try out some of the courses, read more about the courses, or do a project in any one of them. Only then you will find out the career goals. Okay. And see, for example, you go to some random place without knowing the prerequisites. I want to show you this. If you are going to Canada, be prepared to go and look for a supervisor, and we tell you how. We tell you how, we tell you like what is all there, we tell you about resources which are available, we tell you like an example that is there, etc. Okay. So it is not easy to get into like Canada without a supervisor. Similarly, it is not easy to get into Germany without knowing what is there. So that's exactly where we have the school specific rather the country specific series. So here you can see like what does it take to go to Netherlands or Germany or France and all that. Now you might ask, why did you not put Japan? You know, honestly, if you're looking at Japan, come to us. I'll tell you more. But we put the most popular countries to which our students go. Okay. Oceania would be both Australia and New Zealand. You know, that is what is Oceania, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Excellent. So let's move to the other important aspect. So if you don't know which country and what it takes, and I'll also tell you, if you have a backlog, you are better off going to countries like UK and also Australia than rather than US, Germany, and Canada. Now, I am not saying that you can never go to US. Don't get me wrong. What I'm trying to tell you is that it is tougher to get into a US university than it might be for you to get into a UK university when you have a backlog. Okay, but some universities in the US will 100% put their foot down and say that you cannot apply if you have too many backlogs. Okay, all right, so that's where it is. Anyway, coming back to and that's what we mean by having prerequisites. So either the supervisor or the language. Example, Germany, you need a language, or even additional certificates. Example, you want to go from ECE to computer science or machine learning, you need to have those basics. Okay, show me that you're very strong in probability and statistics. Show me that you already have like a foundational course in machine learning, as well as design of algorithms and all that. Okay, so that brings us to the next one. So if you move from say ECE or even mechanical engineering, say, let's say mechanical engineering to robotics, or like say machine learning or data science, business analytics, anything, that is also going to be one of the challenges. God forbid you guys don't do this. Don't come to me and say, oh, Kritika, I'm going to chemical engineering today. And then in September, you come and say, I'll go to civil engineering. It doesn't work like that. Okay. Don't change domains at the last moment. That will also help you to get a rejection, or rather cause a rejection. Okay. So these are some of the most common mistakes that people are doing. Tell me about now, everyone, like, do you have a passport? Yes or no? Raise your hands. Yeah, can I see you guys raise your hands, please? If you have a passport, amazing, great. Now, everyone has a passport. Do you have a valid passport? Okay, true story, guys, true story. Last month, I spoke to a candidate. This guy had traveled from, I forgot the city here, one of the other cities to the nearby city. Okay, he had gone to the center for taking the test, and there was a problem with his passport. So he traveled like literally like overnight to reach this place, and got into the GMAT center for GMAT. He's an MIM candidate of ours, and there was a problem with his passport. Because of that, he was not allowed to write the test, and you know what? The money also got lost. Anybody aware of how much does it cost for GMAT? Yeah, about 20,000 plus. Okay, that's exactly. And again, like what happened, it had to be taken again, and so on and so forth. So he lost the money, not only the money for the test, he was not allowed to, like, he lost a lot of time in the process. Okay. Now, recommenders, you might worry, Kritika, you didn't tell me about recommenders. No, I would have told you already. I would have already told you in your profile building webinars and all that. You know, I would have told you that it is 100% going to be a professor, an internship supervisor, and a project guide. Recommenders are not very fancy at the end of the day. Okay. Now you might wonder, what do you mean by transcripts? I've never seen this word. So let me just see that. All right. So The biggest problem, the biggest thing that I tell you to avoid is this: not utilizing the time with us. You guys have 5 months to plan. Don't come to me the last week and say, oh, I'm going to do this and all that. Correct? Now, in order to like make it easy for you, that is why we have a timeline, which I'm going to inaugurate today. And I'm very happy about the timeline. We will just show that to you as well. Okay. Work on all these bottlenecks with us, and you should be good to go. Okay. So what we do, we will tell you about what you have to write and all that, but we are not going to fill out the application form or something like that for you. We will tell you about how to go about writing, what to write, what are the SOPs, etc. Today, I'm going to show you like a very quick thing for this as well, shortly. Example, we start thinking about our essays from day one today, and I'm going to show you a tool for it. Okay, I don't write anything for you, neither does my team. That's not, no, that's not what we do. Okay, if you really want someone to write for you, no, I think you should get a ghostwriter or chat GPT, but don't do that, not going to help you. All right. Trust me that when you work with us and brainstorm with us, we make it easy for you. Now, if you don't even believe us, think about your CV. How did we work with you on your CV? So we gave you some pointers, we told you how to do it, and of course you got it, but you only wrote it, right? So the same way here. We are not going to write it for you, but we can tell you about what goes in and how to make it work for yourself. We will 100% tell you the suggestions for programs already shared with many of you, how to do the research, what to do, when to do, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but we are not going to do the research for you. So because you know what I decide and what you decide will be very different, isn't it? 100% we will categorize the programs and tell you which is a match, which is ambitious, which is safe and all that, so that you can have an optimal mix to apply. And you will be applying with full intention and also full joy, hopefully, about where you want to go. We cannot take the decision on the program. For example, I can't come and decide and tell you that, hey, apply to University of Michigan today. So I'm not going to do that. Neither will my team. None of us are going to do. Any point or any time you're going to have some problems, we are there to discuss with you in webinars like these, in one-on-one conversations with you, and in the already scheduled quarterly profile mentoring calls like that we already have with you. We will decide and help you choose from possible options. But that said, we can't contact advisors or supervisors or AdCom or anybody on your behalf. Okay. Now you might wonder, Kritika, like, why are you boring us with this? Because trust me that a lot of people are not aware of what is etiquette and what is professional and what is not. Okay, so it's better to show it. Now the fun time. I did tell you, right? I'm going to show you one more important piece of document. Guys, we are going to start thinking about your statement of purpose starting today. We will be sharing this with you, and it's already available in this is available in the portal. I'll show you where. Okay. You can start thinking about the answers to these questions. I will be discussing about this in a special writing workshop, which will not be repeated. It is a special writing workshop because, it is not about how to answer the essay questionnaire, but it's a special writing workshop for those of you who want to improve your writing skills, especially for your statement of purpose later on. Okay. In that special thing, we are also giving a bonus segment on how to ethically use an AI tool to your best advantage. Okay. All right. So this is a beautiful essay questionnaire that we put in together, which have direct questions to answer. So when you start answering this, writing an essay later based on this will be very, very, very easy. All right. So this tool is available to you right here in the application checklist in this lovely portal. I have to thank my team members for the great work on this. They put together everything in one place for your easy access. So this essay questionnaire is available right here, and you can just download it today and start working on it. Okay. So of course, we don't expect you to work on it today itself and all, which is why I'm going to show you the application timeline. Okay. This is very important, I told you I'm going to tell you, like, how to work on it, what to do. Don't come to me to the last minute, etc. Right? So this is like a week by week plan that is available for you. And right from, June. So June also, you have a lot of things to be done. Don't think that you don't have too many things to done. You have a lot of things to be done in June, right? Example is the special essay writing workshop, deciding on your schools, getting your CV done, getting the quarterly profile mentoring call done, etc. Okay. So we are going to give you, this is already available. Now, based on the exact date and everything else, we have a week by week plan for you to follow. So if you are worried, like, okay, when should I do what and when, how, where, etc., right? This is the bare minimum plan for somebody with a 20-day buffer time. Now, you don't have to wait till this. So, for example, if you feel that, hey, you know what, Kritika, I can do the essay questionnaire by June. Yeah, we are very happy to fast track it for you. So what you see is like the bare minimum timeline by which you can apply sufficiently for the deadlines in December. This is the bare minimum timeline. By December you're all done with 5 schools. So this is like the what you call it as the worst case scenario timeline. You can put it that way. Okay. But is there a best case scenario timeline? Absolutely. Do these things that you're doing in August and July itself. Do the things that you're doing in July, June itself, right? That way. Okay. So this timeline is going to be like a very important resource. We have already put together the time when my team is not available and the holidays, see, like you guys, and see, I'll also tell you there is a purpose on putting the holidays. The reason for this is because so that you can use it, guys. Okay. Use that holidays really to your advantage. Use the time off to your advantage. Okay, there are nice holidays coming up, and that is enough time. See, for example, Ganesh Chaturthi weekend, right? It will be a wonderful time for you to like work on your essay questionnaire, finish it off, in case you've not already done it. Okay, so this is our worst case timeline. All right, the best case timeline is obviously something that you're doing ahead of it. And we're also giving you the holiday list, okay, that is going to be available for us. We have told you the days that we are not available and everything is ready. Okay. Now you might wonder, like, Kritika, like, why are you telling me this in May? You're telling me everything for the next 6 months, right? Absolutely. You guys don't realize the value of weeks. You don't realize the value of time at the moment, it is very short. Especially when you're looking at just imagine this, guys, when you're looking at your timeline in terms of weeks, right? See how important each one of it is. Yeah. And you will see that it's very limited time. Like you just hardly have like 12 weeks left together to put together multiple worksheets and all that. Okay. So that is where we have made it easy for you. And of course you can tweak it. It is all recommendation, but this is also fixed. So we're definitely not going to be there on 17th or 15th or 26th and all that. Okay. So we want you to be aware of it because please respect our time. Please respect your time. And we're definitely not available from 21st December till 2nd Jan. Now you might say like, hey, like, why are you telling me this? That is the time I thought you should work on your documents. No. You should be working on your documents ahead of time. If you really want it to your advantage and you want to use our services really well, every week there is a task that is there for you. Every week. And this is the worst case situation, as I keep telling you. Okay, so don't take it lightly. If you're serious about the masters, you already have a plan to follow. You will give yourself the opportunity to stand out and create that best possible application for yourself. Okay, of course, if you have a problem and if you can't do something, that's why we are there. Okay, but note that whatever you need for becoming successful in your masters is already available. And the people who are successful are the ones who are utilizing their time really well and following the steps to make their job easy. Okay. Now, next week, what are we going to do? Sorry, next month, what are we going to do? We are going to talk recommenders, everything recommenders. Now, I already have a lot of information for you. We are also going to like talk about the essay questionnaire a lot, the one that I showed you today. But if you start working on it or even taking a look at it, it's amazing. Okay. And before I see you next week, I really hope that you would have started these worksheets. See, for example, you tell me I don't care about the cost, that's okay. But you can't tell me that I don't care about a school, because you have to do the research about the school and see whether it's the right one for you or not. Okay, excellent. So what can you expect from us today? So as you guys are like, as we are speaking, we are working on your individual list. So you can definitely send us your preferences. I'm going to share the preference form with you. My team member will shortly share it with you, but many of you have already done it. How can you help us better is like, see, interact with us, come to these sessions like you are already doing. Please attend the calls like you guys are already doing. Okay. And if there's any change, let us know. If you're getting stuck somewhere, let us know. See, I'm not going to judge you. See, I have worked with around 10,000 plus applicants. I'm not going to judge you. I know if you have a bad day. I know you might have like, some of you guys might get into a period of overwhelm. I know that you have so many things to balance and might be like too much for you. So don't feel like bad about all those. Reach out to us and ask us when you have a genuine question or a problem, and we are here to like make it work for you. We will tweak the timeline and say, do this now, and so on and so forth. Okay. So that is one thing. See, another thing I want to tell you is that we have many partners that we have identified. When I say partner, let me put it this way. We have explored multiple non-banking financial corporations in the past that our clients have used. And we, of course, have like, a quick understanding with these guys so that we can help you better. So whatever happens with the financing, like you can decide to go with anybody of these guys or even somebody outside. We want you to start thinking about potential financing operations. All right, so you can just reach out to us for that. Note that every step in your master's process might take some time. So give yourself time. Be patient. Okay, so be patient. Everyone runs their race a little differently. As long as you reach your finish line, it's okay. Okay. And then you might wonder, what is a transcript? What is a mark sheet? Now, see, a mark sheet will be like this. It will only have like, for one semester, how much mark, whatever it is, some random numbers, etc., and all that. A transcript is nothing but, the entire set of courses that you've taken in a university. It will come from the seal of the registrar. You can see this here. It is an official student record. It will tell you like, what does the grades mean? What is the grading system? Okay, and how much did you get? When to when? If you got a fail or something, that will also get reflected. So a transcript is typically given to you in the month of, after your sixth semester results are coming out. So after your sixth semester results are coming out, in the month of August or September, you will go to your college and get it. You will apply for the transcript, and the college will give you in a sealed envelope. You will obviously open one envelope and then scan this. So this becomes the transcript. Okay, I will talk about more about the transcript next month, when we are going to have the this one, the best letter of recommendation. Okay, sorry, this should show like 4. I'm sorry about this. And we're going to focus on how to get the best letter of recommendation for you in the next month. I know a lot of you have exams and so on, but I really appreciate you for the time that you gave me. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Any questions that you might have? Was it useful to you guys today? I know that a lot of you have exams, so I really appreciate you joining us despite that. Thanks so much, everybody, for your time. And we're going to bring you more workshops and also focus hours and, of course, discussions with you. So till the time that we see you next, thanks so much and good luck to you. Take care, everybody.